Yeah, I think the first few weeks are just going to be crashing pancake fests and absolute amount of missed bombs after the update is dropped. And then now that we're like totally going in like, okay, jets, here we go, we got jets. I feel like this opens up like doors to many things suddenly. I can't think of one, but I know you're going to be able to figure out in the comments and you'll be writing, no, if we can have jets now, we can have this now. Bring in the freaking mouse. Hey guys, do you remember long time ago when Mr. Fly Daily playing War Thunder said, I bet there's gonna be like an A10 in War Thunder this year, and then he said like, I think there's gonna be a MiG-23 in War Thunder this year or next year, and eventually everything he says kind of comes true, and then when it happens, he's got this like aha moment. I'm not saying I said it, but I mentioned 262 like everyone else in the comments and in the chat and everything. Like, it's been floating around the community, and I have a bit of a aha moment because here we go, weapons and vehicles of the jet-powered update. We're gonna look at that later as well, but like, what is this? Like, I've literally ran over the text a little bit, so I haven't really, I haven't really looked at it properly. But Enlisted, this is not April 1st. This is not April the last, where you could be joking around. Enlisted is getting jet-powered planes in the game. What? I don't know. I don't know. Like, I thought there's like few more things before we get to that, but I mean, I don't know. I'll take it. I will 100% take it. We're gonna get into all the little shenanigans here. The main stars of the update, the jet fighters, will appear in the research tree of all playable nations. So that's pretty cool. So everyone's gonna have a chance to unlock one for free. Which is really cool. They talk about superior speed, and you need to fly carefully because if you slow down, you rapidly lose maneuverability, easy target, la 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 la. What I'm gonna tell you, like, the first weeks are gonna be spent with people flying jets to completely new speeds that I've never flown before in a prop plane in Enlisted. And they'll be either, number one, constantly pancaking into the ground. Number two, they'll be completely missing their bombs because they've never gone in a plane in such a speed. So the trajectory and like the velocity of the bomb is just gonna end up in another country. So that's what I think. And then obviously people trying to slow down, turn, whatever, probably, I don't know. I think people are gonna have an absolute field day shooting these things down eventually. Now, we're probably gonna try and do some prop plane videos where we try to fight a jet, because I think it should be doable fairly easily. Now, there's another great, yes, yay, nay, yeah, it's definitely a great thing. It is definitely a great thing. Just so we have the battle rating 1 kind of locked together with battle rating 2 in matchmaking. We are finally gonna lock out the battle rating 3 from battle rating 5, which means 3 is only gonna fight 4 ideally, and then 4 is gonna fight either 3 or 5. I think, as like we've been talking about this like ever since the start of the time in history, that we should just have two, like that's just how it should be from like ever since. So that's awesome. Long-awaited BR2 semi-automatic rifle. I don't know what these guys are talking about. I did not wait for one, but apparently someone did. We're gonna scroll down to some of the more interesting things. So Germany, obviously, the very first World War II jet fighter ever in the service, and Americans were like, what the hell is that? I don't know, should we call it Jabbo? Swallow? I don't know. Me262 A1A. I think that's the one with the 30 mil cannons. That's a shame because 30 mil cannons don't work in Enlisted, almost never. Like, if these things will work the same way they work in War Thunder, just absolutely rip or cook every single vehicle on the ground. And on top of that, we need to be able to choose belts for these. Just saying, like, come on. Like, if you can implement a jet fighter in Enlisted type of game, surely we can have a little slidey slippy menu where you can have your belt preference or whatnot. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. And a massive 500 kilo bomb. Now, every single jet in this update is gonna have the quote-unquote biggest bomb in the game that we currently have is a 1,000-pounder or a 500 kilo, even though a 1,000-pounder is a little bit lighter than a 500, but they're like there or thereabout on par. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully these 30s work. I'm gonna shoot down planes super easily. Satisfying to take down probably bombers and things like that. And then you're gonna just have to adapt to the speed to drop the 500 kilo, which is very, very much awesome. Now the MG81 at battle rating 5. I suppose this comes after all the other MG whatevers. So this is gonna be a new MG1 is a German aircraft machine gun that replaced an MG15 in 39. By the end of the war in Europe, the remaining machine guns in the warehouse were converted to use by Volkssturm units. Okay. Cool. Oh my god, 1760 rounds per minute. I would love to see the freaking recoil on this. Oh my, what the heck, dude? Oh, that's gonna be mad. On one hand, it's extraordinary firepower. On the other hand, even the very experienced machine gunners will struggle to use it without. It's just gonna be a camper machine. I don't know, dude. But like that fire rate is just insane. 262, lovely to see you here. USDA Meteor F Mark III at battle rating 5. Oh, and by the way, jets are only gonna fly the top tier. Like I think it's gonna be like 4 or 5, or I don't know, maybe like the exclusive BR5. I don't know, but I think it's just gonna be like the very the very, very top tier of the matches. So like it's just like it makes sense, obviously. Yeah, the Meteor. Again, very similar recipe in terms of guns. We have 20s instead of 30s, but even though some of the 20 mil cannons with the correct belt in War Thunder does absolutely devastating damage to vehicles on ground. So again, we want to choose our belts, please. Thank you. And a 1,000-pound bomb. Oh, sorry, 2. Oh my god. Then if you can drop them separately, but they're quite far out in the wing. As soon as you drop one, the aircraft is just going to be very unstable because we can now drop 1x1s instead of pairs. But you can still manage to fly. You can technically do 2 runs with the freaking biggest bomb in the game, which is gonna be quite interesting. Well, this thing, Northover projector. It talks about anti-tank weapon developed in whatever the year is, but then here somewhere at the end it says engineers and flame trooper squads will be able to build these in all BRs, similar in function to the Soviet ampulette. The Northover projector can fire self-igniting phosphorus grenades over a considerable distance. So it's just gonna have an endless ammunition phosphor kind of grenade launcher, just like Soviets have the ampulette, the flame launcher thingy. I mean, I guess cool, new mechanic. I would call this a new mechanic because it's basically a nest that launches a different type of projectile, which is cool. Everything that's new, everything that comes into the game, it's new mechanically and like physically. It's cool, all cool, very much cool. Now the weird copy of the 262, the Japanese Kika, yeah, made very variants, 30 mil cannons. Hopefully they do damage. I'm just gonna keep like putting pressure on this because we need our belts, and a 500 kilo. Not much of a difference from a 262, probably engine performance wise, probably maneuverability and whatnot, flight controls. Probably there's gonna be some difference because this looks like a very long nose, slightly differently shaped engine. Yeah, I mean, if you don't put them side by side, you can say, oh, they're exactly the same, but then if you put them side by side, they're actually very different. This is a lot more chunkier, so I think the 262 is going to be more maneuverable, lighter probably, things like that. The German Roffen Panzerbuschen 43 has made it all the way to Japan, and they explain you how it's possible right here in this topic, which I don't mind. It's fine. If you have a story behind it, how this thing ended up in Japanese hands, that is very cool. Yeah, just gonna glide over that. Now, Soviets, all long-awaited rifles. That Fedorov rifle. Did we just not freaking get these in one of the events? Slightly different, maybe different year, probably better ones. Yeah, 5-round mag, is this semi-auto, self-loading rifle design with yeah. I mean, I guess cool, but yeah, solid damage. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Would you say Uragan? Because I would say Uragan. SMG BR2. Makeshift submachine gun, also known as the Hurricane. It was created by the Berezin, a partisan not to be confused with famous weapons designer from the improvised materials and parts of other weapons. Solution for both Soviets and German submachines, for example, the stock and rear sights of damaged MP40s. Okay. 750 rounds per minute, 32 round mag at BR2. That's not bad. 750 at BR2. That's pretty freaking solid. That is pretty good. Now, Su-9 for the Soviets. Now, in terms of shape, I would say this looks the most similar to Kika because, again, the Me262 is sleeker and it just feels a little bit smaller and probably lighter. But in War Thunder, as far as I remember, this thing was pretty darn good. It had a good battle rating. It was pretty darn good. Now, let's see, what are we working with? It's serious armament in front. Wow, in the form of 37mm cannon and pair of 23 mils. Okay, the 23 mils are, by the way, insane in Enlisted against planes. Like, they just one of the best cannons like in the game. Absolutely, against planes, it's insane. Blah blah blah. Do not go head on because this thing's gonna cook you. And then we're gonna have a 500 kilo in the belly, so it's all kind of fair and square. Again, gonna have to adjust your brain for the speed to drop these bombs, but yeah, there they are. Absolutely. We're gonna take a look at the premium options of similar planes. So, available for pre-order, the jet-powered jet fighter squad. So we're gonna have a different variant of the Me262, which is the A1U4. And, well, the obvious, literally sticking out, the big difference, I think the camo is different as well, is a 50mm. I think you get something like 32 shells. Hopefully it's proper, like, you know, APHE, whatever goodness. So, like, this is going to be devastating. High altitude, top down to tanks is just going to be, it's going to be great. But then you're going to have to make sure you pull up, you know, so you don't pancake. It has maximum speed of 865. That's okay, I guess. And I think it should have, is this the only weapon it has? I think it's the only weapon it has. Managed to produce more than 400 machines and use them against Allied aircraft in the final days in Europe war. Okay, so there's a lot of these apparently. Okay, and the other one is the F-80A5. Totally different kind of looking vehicle once again. Let's have a quick look, see what we're working with. There was an airspeed record at 1,000 kilometers an hour, but I think we're gonna have the earlier modification, which you'll see in Enlisted, can accelerate to 990. Yo, this thing's gonna be an absolute speed demon. So maybe there's gonna be like War Thunder style, kind of like, you know, jet dogfight, you know, kind of tactics, retain energy and climb and turn. And yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how these things play out. We're gonna have multiple roles in combat missions. It's 612.7, so basically it's a P-47 with the jet engine. 612.7s M2 Browning machine guns. So in terms of like a ground pounding performance in terms of machine guns and cannons, this is the worst one out of all. But then again, against planes, this is gonna be deadly as heck. And then again, you get a pair of 1,000-pounders. Again, they're kind of far away from each other, so if you drop one, then a bit of a disbalance, but I think it's better than the other one, the Meteor. So again, technically, you should be able to do 2 bomb runs if no one's on your tail, which is pretty cool, I suppose. And then if you do get the pre-order, you're gonna get the jet pilot portrait, blonde pinup thingy, and the swallow, whatever the German name was for that, the little Me262 silhouette kind of nickname decorator. So this is all very exciting. What do you think about jets in Enlisted? I don't know. Yeah, let me know down in the comments below. I don't know if I sound excited, but I definitely am excited because we needed like an absolute like surprise content that I don't think no one said anything about jets in 2025 in Enlisted, and yet here we all are. This is gonna be great. Shame it's a premium, but this is gonna be great. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Maybe we get a dev server, maybe we can fly these hopefully one day, but I'll try and be there. I'll try and be there for that. So again, have a nice one, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.